force is thinking along those lines is refreshing because it does reflect a better understanding of the broader issue that affects us in terms of what we consider to be articles of theft. So thank you very much, Superintendent Pastor. Miss Mona Blake has been very active on the chat line. You are now up, and certainly some of the points you have raised in the chat line are matters that we can talk about further, because your perspective might be very interesting in terms of some of the comments that you have made recently. Right.
Good afternoon, good after evening, one and all. Hi, my name is Mona double checking. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my darling. Firstly, I'm glad you mentioned that. I do have to point out the reason why I say the random check is yes. We know there's an abuse. This is no shade to the officer, but let's be real. We know there's an abuse of power when something is random. Stop and search, stop and frisk, and those in the American and the England know that's an abuse of power. So the reason why I say the police going around and asking everybody, let me get your ID, let me get your ID, let me see this, there's going to be an abuse of that. I'm not saying that people won't apply it with sense, because there's people with sense, but there's going to be a chance where extortion is going to come into play. There's going to be a chance where it's just going to push criminality even aside that. But I just wanted to answer that part to your statement. Okay. First and foremost, hi, everybody. I am a criminologist. I'm a criminal psychologist, for those who don't know. My whole point and process of being here is to do the rehabilitation and deterrence punishment for Praedial larceny. Now, we do have to first and foremost understand that not everyone do Praedial larceny. Everybody is a cause and effect. So the 16-year-old stealing the ackee from Mr. Derek's farm is not the same 36-year-old who stole it from Mr. Oral's farm. So we can't treat everybody accordingly. Yes, everybody has a cost associated. I'm not taking away from that, but we have to individually assess each degree of crime. Now, not only does Praedial larceny impact the farmer themselves and their families, it impacts the community at large. So if Mr. Nika and Mr. Trevor is known to go to Mr. Derek to get all his potatoes, when the man come in and rob, or the female come in and rob, because let's be real, society assumes it's only male or Praedial larcenists, the females get under the radar. So this is why many of the crime get undetected, because people look for man, not woman. So when we also take away that gender bias from it, it will also help identify and also allocate the rehabilitation that may be needed for them. So for example, I'll be speaking with persons in regards to how it makes sense. You have what's called a shame integration, which, Jamaican people, them shame tree. Some people are on a shame tree, and some people very easily to be embarrassed. So if say you rob something at Trelawney, and everybody respect your family, you are going to be very embarrassed if everybody knows that you go over Miss Jones' yard, Antifa, Bola, Pega Banana, or go over to Mr. Kevin and dig up all his suckers. So that itself can be a deterrent, because we can do, I was discussing this with people, go around, post their pictures around. So if you see this person, be cautious. Now that may sound weird and that may sound evil to some, but that's a maybe deterrence, because some people can't take the embarrassment. The family embarrassed, they end up embarrassed. Now that's based on the degree of the crime. The shameless one, them. The ones who make it a career path for them to commit Praedial larceny. That's a freedom job. Them job is to rob people's thing, because I call that a self-entitlement approach to it. You are entitled to whatever everybody has put on, so you're not going to do it. So everybody's going to be needing their perspective differently. Same, for example, the 36-year-old who has kids and can't feed them, is not necessarily in my rabbit because I'm not talking about goats or cows. I'm sticking to the crops right now, because if you have teeth, goat and cow, so you have a purpose for that. There's a cause that actually is premeditated. That's not a hungry strike. That's not my belly want hungry, so I'm going to check Miss Jones' plum tree. That's you sitting planning to rob somebody's goat because you understand the financial association with that. So that said person will also have a different degree of punishment. You'll be placed across the island based on your degree, based on what the farmers decide, if they want you work off that $250,000, or they want SB oral to holler at you real quick. So you can decide. So that's one of the programs I'm trying to implement to not everybody does or become larcenists based off them feel the need to do it. Some people do it because of the economic background. Some people do it because of the socioeconomic status. Some people do it because, not because they don't have the education, but because that is the only way they can feed their family. Now, if we can create programs within that to assist and deter from that, then there may be limited. But my 5 minutes is up. There's a lot more. There's going to be more in the series. So there's stuff that I didn't mention. And in the question and answer, and you guys can ask me all kinds of stuff. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now.
All right. Thank you, Mona. I'm told that Mr. Murray will speak through